So in 2016, the Fawcett Society, which is a feminist charity, did a survey that found that only 7% of the people in the UK describe themselves as feminists, and the rest don't necessarily disagree with the concept of equality for women, but they certainly don't view themselves as feminists. This was quite the shock to the Fawcett Society at the time, but I think that a new survey is going to be even more of a shock, as reported by BuzzFeed, and using a picture of yours truly. A new poll has found that a third of young British people have anti-feminist views. It's interesting, isn't it? A third of young British people believe that feminism is marginalising and demonising men, according to new polling shared with BuzzFeed News. This was done by Hope Not Hate, which are a very radically left-wing organisation, and they believe that these anti-feminism beliefs are a slip road to other far-right ideas, which doesn't explain why 33% of the country aren't far-right, or at least whatever that's supposed to be, like Nazis or something. But anyway, that's just what Hope Not Hate think, and what Hope Not Hate think is broadly irrelevant. The survey conducted by YouGov earlier this year found that 33% of people between ages of 18 and 24 agreed with the statement that feminism was to blame for making some men feel marginalised and demonised in society. Across all age groups, 42% of men felt that feminism was marginalising and demonising some men, while only a quarter of women agreed. Only? More than 3 times more women are anti-feminist than feminist. like, that's... Anyway. Feminism is not a very popular position in Britain. Anti-feminism is roughly 3 to 4 times more popular depending on the demographic you're talking about. It is more popular to hold the anti-feminist position than it is to hold the feminist position. Explicitly so. Rosie Carter, the senior policy officer for Hope Not Hate, told BuzzFeed News that anti-feminist beliefs are alarmingly widespread and serve as a gateway to other far-right ideas. Well, I don't care what she thinks serves as a gateway to anything because she's a communist. But, yes, to her these are alarmingly widespread, and to me that's wonderful news. Good. Young men who feel uncomfortable with the world, with a sense of loss with their status, who are not happy with their lives, are coming to blame feminism. Now this, to me, is the reason that people fucking hate feminism, right? There's nothing to do with a loss of status. You know, like a lot of these young men have never had any particular status. What they're noticing is that the game is weighted, the game is rigged against them. The dice are loaded. The scales are weighted. There is an active movement that seeks to harm them to the benefit of a very small percentage of women who appear to be able to and willing to take advantage of this. Most people are not against the idea of equal rights for women, obviously. They are against special privileges for women that come at the expense of poor young men. That's what they're seeing here, and that's what they're reacting to. When it is offered as a simple explanation for these anxieties and their own place in the world, that's when it starts to take hold. Okay, well, if that was true, why do a quarter of women also agree that feminism is demonising men and marginalising them? Why would the women also think that? Again, 3 times more women than are feminists are anti-feminists. That should be very concerning for the feminist movement to figure out, well, hang on, doesn't this require some self-reflection? Why are more women opposed to us than are in favour of us? What is it about our particular activism that's causing them to be this way? Of course, they're not going to care about any of that. Self-reflection is for other people. These people have got a divine mandate from the holy vagina in the sky to push this to the very limits. There is no bad thing. What was it the GMTV presenter said? It's putting the focus only on women's rights, and that can't be a bad thing. Well, apparently not according to a quarter of the women in the country and 42% of the men in the country. They seem to think that it might actually be a bad thing if we only focus on the problems that one particular demographic has, and especially when we frame this activism against the majority, like the half of the country that are men. If they are being held responsible for this, then yes, you're naturally going to get this kind of thing. But anyway, anti-feminism is being packaged up into a parcel of other ideas which we associate with the far right. What, Islam? It's pretty anti-feminist, at least in Birmingham. It's there, sandwiched between anti-elitism, doesn't seem like a bad thing, and hostile feelings towards immigrants and Muslims. Really? Come on now. As if the immigrants and Muslims have all come along and gone, hey, we love feminism, look at our rainbow flags. Yeah, come on now. You're being silly. The survey sampled more than 6,000 adults who agreed to take part in the online survey, because YouGov surveys are online, so take them with a pinch of salt, admittedly. Carter represented, but the results have been adjusted to be representative of the UK population. Okay, we'll take their word. Carter suggested young men were getting anti-feminist views presented to them on YouTube via the site's algorithm, which serves up suggested videos which are increasingly more extreme. The New York Times investigation last month detailed how YouTube played a part in radicalizing people who use the platform. Yes, but the New York Times investigation showed that it was in fact people being radicalized towards the radical left. The person involved in this investigation did not become alt-right, radical right-winger. He became a radical left-winger. So, if anything, it's in spite of YouTube's tendency to radicalize people towards the left that this is occurring. So there must be some legitimacy to it, or at least they perceive it that way. Surely. Let's look at how young men use YouTube. See, now it becomes an attack on the platform itself. How dare they? This is not producing the result we want. Therefore, there must be something wrong with what you're doing, not with what we're doing. It can't be wrong for us to demonize men in order to advance a small section of women who want to be advanced by this. That can't be wrong, can it? How could that be wrong? One of the YouTubers who's been front and center around mainstream political debates this year has been the prominent Gamergate leader. Whoa! I was never a leader of Gamergate. There were no leaders in Gamergate. I was merely a concerned citizen. During his unsuccessful bid for the European Parliament, Benjamin broke into the mainstream with a YouTube video discussing raping Jeff... A comedy video. You're actually presenting a comedy video as if it was legitimate commentary, are you? It was unironically a stand-up routine. It was marked as comedy. It was a blooper reel of jokes. You are such fake news, BuzzFeed. Such fake news. Polling also revealed Conservative Party members' attitudes towards feminism. Shock and surprise. 46% of Tory members believe that feminism has a negative impact on society, while only 1/4 believe it has a positive impact, and they're the quarter that should probably go over to the fucking Labour Party. It speaks to conservative values, whereby feminism is seen as a lefty liberal thing. It's not liberal at all. It's a socialist thing, which the right must oppose, at least if they want to be right-wingers. It's also tapping into their own insecurities about a changing world. You don't know that at all. You don't know why they oppose feminism. You haven't asked them. About 160,000 conservative members, blah, blah, blah. Right. And they've got a correction here. Hope Not Hate's polling showed that 33% of British people to 1824 agreed with the statement, feminism is plain. All right, that's the update. Right. But that's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting how they think that I am responsible for popularising anti-feminism in the British consciousness. Mark DiStefano, when you're not busy lying, you're welcome. Hope Not Hate, I'm sure you're enjoying the new results. I certainly am. It's good to know that I've had that much of a cultural impact. I mean, what's interesting is during the MEP campaign, I was obviously specifically targeting my videos to be targeting them towards Britain, and I was getting more unique views in the UK than I was anywhere else, which is interesting that you can actually do this. With somewhere like 2.5 million unique views during that 1 month. So that's interesting. And I can see why you guys get so upset by this, because it's not good news for you. It's not good news for anyone who's been promoting feminism at the expense of young men, which you have been doing and the public have noticed, and they are not in favour of because they broadly do not hate men.